Hey y'all, what's up? It's Val and it's been a minute. Happy to see everybody again. But I wanted to get some stuff off my chest about just the current state of the world. I mean, there's so much shit going on for real, for real. But one thing that I haven't heard a whole lot of people talking about it, especially like in the spiritual community, astrology world, shit like that. And I gotta keep this myth going to keep Mother Nature's disembodied beings from flying around and shit. I cannot stand flying bugs. So anywho, we're gonna talk about the nodes. Now, right now we're experiencing a Pisces North node. It's also a year 9. It's 2025. Okay, so I feel like this is the era of the end game, because it's the last zodiac sign. It's the last single digit number. You get a lot of Jupiter vibes too, because and I'm gonna kick the spiritual shit, but I'm gonna just talk about this in a practical way too, right? But for real. All right, Jupiter is rules the ninth house, right? So there's that energy, but also Jupiter co-rules Pisces with Neptune. Okay, so we're going through the node. Now, I personally have been paying attention to the node since 2020, when, of course, C19 occurred. I mean, it was just a big time, and I never really focused that much on it, and I feel like I'm still kind of learning about it. But I'll just share where I'm at in this space, right? So, boom, it's 2020, right? We just had the great alignment too, where all the planets were aligned and shit like that. But the Gemini North Node, particularly, why was so just it stood out to me so much, because that's, I mean, like, everything changed around us, right? The whole fucking environment. You had to be 6 feet apart. You couldn't be at certain places. You found out if you was essential or not, right? There was so much communication going on about this new virus that didn't nobody really know about, but they already had cures for it, bitch. It was crazy, okay? So that was occurring in 2020. All right, so boom. I was like, that's kind of interesting. So let's fast forward. Let's go to the next North Node, because the nodes also transit backwards, and I'm still learning about the nodes. But from what I can tell, it's like, the Earth is like on an axis. All right, so the nodes basically measures this point of the axis and where the moon hits the equator. So anything dealing with the moon has a lot to do with emotions, intuitions, our feelings towards shit, right? And that's what was kind of occurring. Like, it was like, how do we feel about standing 6 feet apart? How do we feel about being essential or non-essential? How do you feel about this, you know, cure they got for this situation, right? So just a lot of talk, a lot of communication, fact checking and shit like that. Travel restrictions with Sagittarius being the South Node. So it was really, I was like, oh, I'm perked up. So boom, let's go to like the next node transit, which was the money, because the nodes also transition backwards. And anybody who wants to help me understand why, please let a bitch know, because I'm fascinated at this point. I'm vested, bitch. I'm like, this is like a whole like movie to me. I'm just eating popcorn. I'm eating popcorn. I know everybody's worried about what's going on the world stage, but I am buying Bitcoin and I'm eating popcorn. Because what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Again, I gotta disembodied beings be gone. That's right. It ain't nothing but like a little bit of peppermint and like some warm water. So we'll see what it does. I saw it somewhere on somebody's short shit. I'm gonna try it. Anywho, the next node was the Taurus North Node. Now this occurred right after C19. What happened, right? We had the rent moratoriums that was going on during C19. They didn't put a mortgage moratorium on, but they put the rent moratorium on, right? So people who have like, bought, like, because housing is an investment. So if you got renters who weren't paying, but you still have to be, responsible for the mortgage, all kind of shit was happening. So it created a major exchange, right, between like local private home ownership and corporations owning these homes, right? So that was a big deal with the money. Um, Everything went up, right? They was just giving out money in 2020, especially in the U.S. They was just getting it out, right? I mean, I wasn't essential, bitch. I just went home and got paid, okay? So yeah, just all kind of stuff, right? So anyway, back to like Taurus North Node, which occurred right after this, right? Y'all remember, like, thing you just had to pay like more at the grocery store for things. Rent went up, right? Even people's mortgage rates, everything with the money went up, right? And Taurus deals with money. Scorpio deals with other people's money, which is the South Node, right? So there was all of it just basically happened at one point, boom. So fast forward, because I want to get to Pisces. Fast forward after that, right? We went into the Aries North Node. Now motherfucking Ukraine acting a fool. Now so and so acting a fool. Now we everybody fighting. In fact, the Montgomery brawl that happened kicked off the Aries North Node, and it was in Leo season. And I want to say like it was a fire moon too. I was like, everybody motherfucking fighting, and that was some good shit. That was some good. I'm my human ass. I don't run no fights no more like that. But if it's interesting, I'm not. That was a good one. And I think also too, Elon, because right now Trump and Elon fighting right now as I'm doing this video. But Elon and Mark Zuckerberg was like they was gonna fight. Everybody was fighting basically, and Aries is like the god of war, right? That election was nasty as hell. Aries North Node, right? So it's just it's just it's just the way like the motion and the influence and how it hits. The nodes have been something I've been paying attention to. So I just haven't heard a whole lot of people talk about it. So I'm just coming with my 3, 4, 5 cents in the shit. But anyway, boom. So here we are, Pisces North Node. Okay, Pisces is the last zodiac sign. So this is about you don't really find out what's going on in the story until you get to the end. Okay, but you gotta go, from the beginning to the end. So now we at the end. We're at the end game, y'all. Then it's the number 9. So we at the end game's end game. Like we saw how shit was being placed strategically, and now the strategy is being executed, and that's what we're witnessing to me. Because take a look back, right? When none wrong. Let's go back to January. There was the whole thing with the planes falling out the sky. Now that's crazy as hell. That's crazy as hell. Well, you know what's crazy as hell? What's crazy to me about it is planes was falling out the sky, but then Gail King took her ass to the final frontier and landed with a motherfucking thud, no problem. But they couldn't keep the planes in the sky for a minute, every damn other day. Delta or Spirit or was trying to send souls back to the house. It was just all kind of bullshit going on. And it's like, why would that be? The TSA was fine. We didn't need nobody messing with it. Looked like they had shit figured out. Now all of a sudden, the president started tampering, and he done threw some things off. It seems like it's back together now. Before a minute, like when, because I wasn't fine during the time of like the people who I knew who were. We was a little nervous. Like, damn, bitch, like, are y'all cool? So that's how it began. Pisces, or something. That's how it kicked off, right? Then there was this whole "Make America Great Again," the dream. Pisces deals with dreams, right? So a lot of people were sold that dream that this would be the time when things would just be, you know, fixed or better. Or but the thing about dreams is like it's a real thin line sometimes between that and a nightmare, but it's all just an illusion. It's all just an illusion, pretty much, right? So here we get to see everything unveil, and the DEI, right? That's great. Send a bunch of motherfuckers home. An unprotected class of people, because people tend to hire their people. I get it. You know what I'm saying? If I had my business, I'm gonna hire my folks. Before I hire somebody I don't know. So when that just happens, and so you take marginalized groups that are supposed to be protected against these major corporations, and you take those protections away. Oh wow, oh wow, these motherfuckers can just say, you know what, I don't want to do it no more. I just don't. I don't. I, I know this is. I get the foundations of what this country stands for, but I don't want to do it no more. It doesn't do anything for my bottom line, and the government's like, yeah, cool. But going back to Gemini North Node, right? They told your black ass, my brown ass, whatever shade of rainbow you are. They told your ass to go home. They told you to stand 6 feet apart. They told you that you can't come into this space without a mask, right? So the reach was reaching. They even told certain people that you couldn't come back to your job without the jab. Like, it was a lot, right? But here we are, 5 years later, and corporations are just like, yeah, like, what we gotta hire her for? Why? I don't wanna. No, nope. I can pay my college friends who ain't gonna do shit no way. I don't have to give it to her. She gonna find out that we embezzling any goddamn way. Nope, nope, not hiring her. Nope, you can't make me. And that's what happened, right? So the DEI situation was crazy. Industries changed too. Like Coachella, I'm a festival girly, right? I don't think I would do the Coachella like that, but I love the idea of it. I think it's great. I always look forward to like who went there. They have like the best of the best, and there's like these surprise acts. And for Coachella to have people waiting like 8 hours and fighting and having fender benders and motherfuckers, feces on the side of the road. Like, it was crazy, right? And these are people who paid $1,000 for tickets. And then there was this whole situation where the people who paid like $10,000 for tickets, right, had a completely different experience. So the industry was like, well, you can come, but you got to sit in the nosebleeds, and but climbing up to the nosebleeds, there's holes in the floor and shit. Like, bitch, I don't want to die trying to. I don't want to like fall out from heat exhaustion because I'm trying to see, somebody get on stage for a couple hours, right? But like, so like, just shit was just like crazy, right? And that's unheard of, right? It's a brand, right? It's all about the branding, right? It's about the brand, like the brand and what it represents. And here's the thing too, what was uncomfortable for me about it was like, nobody apologized. They didn't get Sierra, they didn't hire Bow Wow, okay? They didn't get Uncle Snoop. They didn't get the new girl, the espresso chick, Sabrina. I was gonna call her Sabrina Applebaum. I don't know her name, whatever her name is. They didn't get nobody. They didn't get Twyla, nobody. Nobody said sorry, nothing. It was just like business as usual, and that's kind of strange, right? That's just not. That's un-American. Period. If you fuck up, you at least need to apologize, all right? Or think about that when you're in a relationship, because shit happens, right? But when you're at the relationship and you're at a point where you and your partner, you don't get no fuck no more. You know you fucking up and you ain't saying sorry. When you are at that point of the relationship, oh baby, it is the end game's end game. And I'm just eating popcorn, paying attention, okay? So let's talk about the tariffs. The tariffs is something that are let's just call this shit a tax. It's a tax, period. Because if you gonna make the motherfuckers who, first of all, y'all spent the last 100 years, 200, 150 years industrializing America to the point where we don't do shit for ourselves no more, right? So now that you outsourced everything, now you're gonna charge them a tax for selling us the shit that we need, bruh. Okay. And if you taxing them, you still getting the money. So it's a tax. I don't like tariff sounds like the bloom or some shit. It's just it's giving something that like to kind of, you know what I mean? You you know what I mean? Like an agreement is the same thing as a contract. A 2-year agreement. No, it's a contract. That means that if something happen on this and somebody's in default, there's legal. You see what I'm saying? It's just cute language to cover up the fact that this is a tax, and this is a tax on living, things that you need to live, medicine that you need to live, food that you need to live, right? I don't even say why the fuck we getting peaches from goddamn Dubai. It don't make no sense. You can just get them from Georgia, apparently. But this is the way the world economy is working, and you want to tax the fucking world? Okay, fine. End game's end game. Like I said, I'm eating popcorn, okay? Because what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know, they're gonna do it. This is the whole thing, and that's the whole point though to me. The whole point and like the bigger conversation that people aren't having is really like the economy. Everybody knows this week. Everybody knows like the dollar is struggling because of it, but people aren't, and it's what people ain't saying. It's what they don't say, right? And that's another thing about the hiddenness of Pisces kind of energy. It's very 12th house is like the occult, right? So basically, it means hidden. It's hidden knowledge, right? Um, what they don't say is that the biggest corporations are getting into crypto, right? They'll tell you to be scared. They'll tell you to be worried. But this is where we're headed. Right after Pisces goes out of its North Node transit, we're going to go into Aquarius, which deals with technology, right? And it's not going nowhere. We have digital money is a thing. It's a thing. Um, it's above my pay grade to break down in a video, so everybody should do their own research. But it's definitely not something that is going to go anywhere, right? And so, I'm up here looking like I got damn shoulder pad on. I think my phone was right here. So, anywho, right? The change in the money. That's a conversation that nobody's really having a conversation about either. Okay, so with the tariffs though, let's talk about this. Let's just, before we go into the whole crypto part, right? Let's talk about the tariffs and how it kind of expose the whole phony luxury industry. And that's the best big thing in the westernized world. Like most people got that the same Jordans was coming off the same line as like the Nordens or whatever the fuck the off brand is, right? Like you're just paying for the name. You're paying for that checker. That motherfucker is worth $250 a parachute for some reason, right? Shout out, probably goes from the Greeks. and shit. That shit is like a damn magical talisman or something. Like you put that shit on somebody, they own it now, so you can't really fuck with it. But if you did though, like they did it, like they made it into something else. But ultimately, right, the point is that there's no real difference between a $100 bag from Macy's and a $20,000 bag from some other place that is hard to pronounce, right? They're all made from the same shit, and that got exposed. But people been new. You've been new. But now the unveiling is coming off, right? That's what Pisces does. Pisces is about letting you know the characters, letting you know how the story was made, the credits. Okay, now you can kind of see how everything was put into place and how it came to be. So because of this, right? It's a confusing time. It's water. Um, Water always puts you in your emotions because at the end of a situation, you can't do nothing but be left with how you feel. There's something else to do, right? That's what I'm saying. I mean, popcorn. There's nothing to do. All this protesting and shit for what? There's nothing to do. I get it. I get it. I mean, I don't. That's just me. That's just me. I don't want to get too political in this particular video, right? But the point is, right? What can you really do to make somebody who's got all the bargaining chips do anything different? And when you're playing chess, you know this, right? If you have the advantage, you have the advantage. Like there's no amount of crime, boo-booing, um, throwing rocks. You just go get yourself in jail, pretty much, right? What you can do though is begin to think about, okay, well, if this industry is closing, how since this is ending, right, and everything has an expiration date, shit's gonna end, right? But if shit ends, a new beginning is coming. All right, so that's really the thing. Where are you gonna be when all this shit settles? That leads me to the question of like crypto and Bitcoin and things that they aren't talking about, right? Like that kind of shit, like the money, bitch. Let's talk about the money, okay? Because if we really are going to be paying like, 10, 15 bucks for a loaf of bread, which is like it's just feels like it's just drawing. Okay, I don't know, it just feels like something that's just not going to be the same. Okay, and again, I ain't got no crystal ball. Let me say this: I don't have a crystal ball. Let me not say again, I do not have a crystal ball. I don't know what the fuck anybody's going to do, right? Just based off trajectory and just based off the fact that they've got all the bargaining chips, they make all the food, they make all the decisions, they create the money, they've got the power in their hands to do whatever they want to do. Do you uh, to think that they're going to play nice to you after they pretty much got you cornered is like, you know what comes next, right? So since we're at this point and we are at the end game, I'm just like, okay, I just want to think about whatever the future is going to be, and because I don't want to live like it's all like dismal and shit like that. But I do know like nothing's going to be the same. Um, Nine wants to reset, right? So we're going to go to like another one in a bit. And the reset, as far as the nodal position, is going to be of Aquarius. So it has to do with like humanitarian ideas and also the future. Like it's like fixed air, and for whatever reason, we don't really lock in on how we really see things going until like it's the last air sign Aquarius is, right? So you don't really lock in your mind until you kind of almost come to the end, basically. So humanity, which is the 11th house has to do with it as well. It's going to be a big thing as far as like where we go from here based off how things shape up in the end. So I think it's wise to basically look at like what people are doing, what people are saying, the players, right? Like again, if we're gonna be taxed, let's just call the shit what it is. It's a motherfucking tax, right? Um you do better by, as things unveil, looking at it for what it is and idealizing it for what and romanticizing it as into something that it never really was, right? This has always been the plan. It basically is what I'm saying. Like, bitch, this has always been the plan. It's always been the plan from the jump, from the beginning, and we're just seeing it all unfold, okay? So now that it is here, all right, like I said, I'm gonna be in popcorn. um, and yeah, that's all I got for this particular video. I just wanted to get this off my chest for the North Node. I'm gonna come back again and talk about the nodal energies, probably some more, because this is like only halfway into the year as I'm doing this video. We're just getting into Gemini season right after like the Sagittarius full moon, and motherfuckers is cutting up. Like I said, like it just feels like people are like losing their shit, and I do feel like it's just, yeah, it's uncomfortable. Okay, that's the thing about Pisces. It's like two fish swimming in different directions. Like shit is uncomfortable. It's confusing. I get it, But the other part of it is that it's very spiritual, right? It's when it's when you get low that you start calling on God, that you start trying to understand what's happening, you know. So yeah, this when you kind of yeah I'm about on my limit. I'm gonna get ready to get off here. But yeah, that's when you begin to start asking questions and start trying to see what's going on. Is when things are down bad, right? So although it is a lot of shit to worry about and shit like that, I still know and see that there are options. Humanity is resilient. We will figure shit out, right? And this ain't the whole first time we've been up on we've been up against some kind of disaster, like just waiting to happen around the corner. All of the ancestors have got to deal with it. It's just our turn, you know. So we'll see what happens as this motherfucker keeps turning and spinning, and I'll come back and talk about some more shit that's on my mind. Anyway, so I enjoyed y'all. Y'all take care. See you soon. Bye.